I know you could be out there earning anything between 50,000 to 100,000 Kenya shillings, and you are struggling to understand exactly which type of car is suitable for you. Umekuwa ukisave for a while, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, na imefika mahali you've put together anything between 600 to 800,000 Kenya shillings. And here is a reality. You want to buy your first car. It's not the ideal car that you want, but of course you want a car that can move you from point A to point B. One thing you're looking for is a bit of reliability. And the other thing that you're looking for, maybe you have a young family, so you want a car that will give you a bit of better accommodation in the cabin space. You want a car that will give you technically low running costs. And if you're a guy I've described, then of course, without further ado, I'll wish to introduce to you the Nissan Tiida. This is among the cars that you should consider for a budget of anything between 500 all the way to 800,000 Kenya shillings. And I'm here to tell you why. Jo, mmesikia Nissan, damu ikakimbia kwa mwili. You're like, umeshaambiwa na mtu hapa kwa hii channel before Nissan too. Okay, fine. Nissan have had a struggle of their own, and currently they are still struggling. Okay? That, without a doubt, we can't leave that one out. But one thing that I need you to know is the glory of Nissan was there before. There was a time Nissan was Nissan. Like, there was no other car on the market you could buy if it was not a Nissan. I'm talking about the B series. You know, kama unajua Nissan Sunny, you know, kama unajua Nissan B12, B13, B14, B15. Come on! Kuna moja ilikuja ikachoma, G11, Sylphy, but of course, that is still part of the Nissan legacy. The earlier versions of these cars were very fantastic, capable, and reliable cars. So, this particular Nissan Tiida that we have here is a 2012 version, okay? And that means it's the second generation. So, the first one was the C11, then the second one the C12. Kama unasikia hizo majina, they sound the same as the Nissan Note E11 and then E12. So basically, this car is built on the same platform as those particular cars. So when they were developing this car, actually it's the same platform where you have the Note, you have cars like Renault, Clio, you know. This time Nissan were having a partnership with the Renault. So they did a lot of things together. So this is called the B platform, where all these cars are built. And ukisikia platform, inamaanisha they share a lot of things. Kuna probability ukienda kubuy shocks za hii gari, na uende kubuy za Note 11 in the same. Ukienda kubuy bushings in the same. But the only few things I've done is to differentiate hii gari from the exterior, the interior, and how it feels to drive it, just to make it unique and appealing to a different category of buyers. So hapo tuko chonjo. So now, let's talk about why you need to consider and why you do not need to consider, because there are good things about the Nissan Tiida and there are also bad things about the Nissan Tiida. You will not buy the Nissan Note and choose to buy this particular car is of course on what it provides around this space. So this space hii kuanzia hapa paka hapa. So this is the sedan version, but you can also get this car as a hatchback. I don't know. I tend to lean kidogo towards the hatchback. For me, it looks slightly better. But of course, you get a bit of better practicality in terms of boot space kwa hii. So there are a few things that are going on here that you'll not find on a conventional car. Kwa mfano, angalia kama hii side mirror. Most cars, you'll find this side mirror mounted around here. It means when you're sitting in the car, looking outside, this side mirror iko hapa. But this one is right on the door frame and close to you as a driver. Same applies to the one of the passenger. Na hiyo inafanya kuendesha hii gari inakuwa very simple and easy. But again, look at the size of this door. Meaning, cabin space ya hii gari ni kubwa sana. Look at that door. It's quite huge. You know, for a huge person, kama wewe ni mse mrefu, you're slightly bigger. You know, it will still be very easy for you to get in this car and come out. Those are a few things that make this car a bit special. Even coming back to the rear, look at that door again. It's quite huge. I wish it would have opened a bit more than this. But you get the point. It's also quite easy. For a car this size, it's not difficult for a big person to get into this car and be comfortable. So that's That is one design feature that I love about the Nissan Tiida. It has been in production until 2012. I believe this is the last year of its production. And of course, it comes with a bit of newer things in comparison to the first version, like a new facelift, the way it looks at the front, at the rear, the design of the lights and all that. So it makes it a bit beautiful and attractive. But in terms of beauty and how it looks, we can all agree. Looks are quite subjective, so it's down to you. But for me, it's a car that can fit into your lifestyle in terms of how it looks. It doesn't shout ugliness, it doesn't shout beauty. It's there. It's a car that will move you from point A to point B. You guys can talk about reliability and bash Nissan on so many levels, but one thing you can't take away from them is the fact that they've built awesome and beautiful engines for a very long time. Watu watalalamika juu ya gearbox, sijui CVT nini, but nobody in the entire car space will tell you anything bad about any Nissan engine, because Nissan have had a good run when it comes to developing superior, capable and reliable engines. And of course, it comes in with the advantage that they are working with other people that are making also reliable engines. Like I said earlier, Renault. And for me, that's fantastic. When two manufacturers work together to create awesome and fantastic stuff, inakuwa rahisi kuendesha gari na kuown gari iko poa. So what do we have under the hood of this particular 2012 Nissan Tiida? So what you have here is a HR15, okay? 1500cc, direct injection, blah, 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 all those things that people tell you. So that's what you get here, a very reliable, a very robust engine. Paired to it is a CVT transmission from Jatco. Now, there's a catch here. So these earlier variants of the CVTs were not as bad as these ones that came later on, past 2012, 2013 and going forward. I don't know what Jatco did, but from there, everything went haywire. So I won't talk about the problems that we'll get on this one, because I have somebody who has the knowledge, the know-how and the expertise to tell us exactly, if you're planning to buy this car, what exactly are the problems that you are born to look into or experience when you're owning this car. But for now, let me talk about other engine options that you can get, because this car provides a very, very fantastic platform for even guys who love performance, okay? So the other engine that you can get, if you buy the C11, and that is the first gen of this particular car, you get 3 engine options. So you get this HR15, you also get a HR16, and then you get an MR18, okay? So the MR family. HR and MR are just families of Nissan engines. Again, they are co-developed and shared with the Renault. So they share a lot of similarities with other engines you'll find in cars like the Renault Clio, as I said earlier. So now, when you buy this particular platform, okay, now the earlier version, the C11, you can have that with either 4-speed automatic, ukipata ka 4-speed auto kwa C11. Usiwachilie, wekelea, because that's a jackpot. It will never die on you. It will take you anywhere, Timbuktu and back without a problem. You can also get with a 5-speed manual and a 6-speed manual for only guys who got the MR18 DE. That is on the C11. Now, if you buy this generation, which is the C12, there's a bit of a difference. You keep the HR15, okay? But now going up, you now get the MR16 DDT. Okay? Sasa hapo ndo juice inaanza kuingia for guys who love performance. So the MR16 DDT is now a turbocharged petrol direct injection engine. So for performance, hapo iko sawa. And that one can be paired to either a 6-speed, no, it can be paired to a 5-speed manual or a Jatco CVT. Hapo tuko chonjo, okay? And then we go now to the higher side, we now get what you call an MR-A8DE. Remember the first C11, you had the MR18DE. Asa hii ni MR-A8DE. Now, what's the difference between those two engines? So technically, the newer version is an improved version of the other one. It has twin variable valve time systems, and it gives you better efficiency and fuel economy. And that one, again, can be paired to a 6-speed manual transmission for power, efficiency, and driver dynamics, which is something quite beautiful on this platform and chassis of the Nissan Note Tiida. So before I talk about practicality and how capable in terms of boot space and hauling your luggages to the airport for a young family, ama kwenda ushago, because I tend to believe and present the idea that whoever is buying this car, you know, part of the journey will be occasionally, once in a year. Please make it twice or thrice. Utakuwa unakimbia pale kaushago, unaekewa kagunia kama mahindi pale na tuguashe, unarudi Nairobi kufanya shughuli ambayo 001 amesema tufanye. So before I talk about practicality, the size. So what you get here as default is size 15 size tires, and these ones equal aftermarket rim, but you can get a stock one again from Nissan. I always recommend, I would rather keep the stock and the original alloys from the manufacturer. For me, they make the work done. Haitavunjika vunjika, haitakusumbua. Nyuma unapata drum, okay, na mbele unapata disc. But I believe if you get this car in a different variant, like the one that comes with the turbocharger or the MR A8 DE, you can get them with disc at the rear as well. So it makes it easier for stopping and also enhances the driver dynamics of whoever owns and drive this car. Now, let's talk about practicality. Mambo ya kwanza ukiangalia huko nyuma, it is a very simple car. You can see there's a badge here called Tiida Lashu. So this car, in other markets, is what we call the Lashu. Okay? So basically it's the same car named differently in different markets, but that's what you have. You can get this car in a hatchback form, and you can also get it in a sedan form. Now, if you get it in a sedan form, iko paka na kabaton. Nice. But does it work? Let me unlock. It actually works. So it has an electronic button up and down, which you can press, and of course, the boot will come right open. Now, come closer. What you get here is quite practical boot space, like entirely a very sober, practical boot space. The only downside is you have little space ya kutoa vitu na kuingiza. Then you have a very big hump or lip that is just here that makes it a bit difficult to pull heavier things out. But once you get over this problem, kuweka vitu hapa na it becomes quite spacious. Let me get in. You guys think it's a joke. Hii gari ni kubwa. You know, now getting in is a problem, but you can tell if wewe wacha bwana, if I can get in, you know, you can fit here at least 2 big suitcases for your journey, which is quite awesome. So let me come out and then we talk about whether we have a spare wheel tire hapa ndani ama hatuna. Do we have a spare wheel tire? A full one? Let me see. Yes. No, we don't have a full, but we have the Cardonut. The Cardonut can fit, but you still have extra space. So you can ongeza some few things hapo chini in case you want more further space to carry your stuff. So now, where this car gets a bit interesting is when it comes to the interior, okay? And I can tell you for a fact, before I show you about the interior options and what we have and how capable this car in terms of interior, mbona kanashinda kanafanya, ewe bwana, mnaweka aftermarket vitu zinasumbua gari kabisa, okay? So before we talk about what the car has in the interior, one thing I'll tell you is there's nothing that Nissan are good at better. In fact, they are better than anyone in the market right now. If you're planning to buy the modern Nissans, X-Trail, Nissan Sylphy, Fuga, Skyline, talk about any of those, I can tell you for a fact that the interior feel, the drive quality, the suspension feel has been tuned better than any other JDM car on the market. Prove me wrong in the comments and I'll show you the truth. So, tuingie hapa ndani. Hey. Let's talk about the interior and how practical it is. So, as I promised, just look at the interior. In fact, forget the interior. I want you to closely look at this seat and the way I'm sitting. I can tell you for a fact, the closest or the one that I feel it's better than this one would be a Volvo. Anything from that, I don't know. These seats are comfortable. The cushion is quite well lined up. It's just a fantastic place to be, okay? For this size of a car and this age, I feel like these seats are big. Angalia tu, comfortable. I can't even believe they have it in a Tiida, okay? Easy, comfortable. This is a car that you will enjoy driving for a long distance. Hautakuwa unachoka mara kwa mara. And then the quality of the build material is quite awesome. Yes, it's plastic, but it's just plastic that we talk about. The kind of plastic Toyota have, the plastic that will last forever. And they've done something else that is interesting. So they have extended the feeling that you get on the seats and the material also to the door. Ukiangalia hapa door kuna material hapa yenye iko very soft to the touch. So ukiweka mkono yako hapo, you know, guziguzi ma plastic mingi. You get, and it gives this car very nice, a bit of premium feel when you're driving it. Of course, when it comes to practicality, you have very huge door bins hapa zenye unaweka vitu ndani. You have some hidden storage. Here it says storage. This is where you get your OBD diagnostic port. So ukitaka kuskani gari ilikuja na OBD2. Unaweza weka coins zako hapa, kuna mahali ya coins. There's another storage compartment hapa. I don't know, can you fit a phone here? Yes. No, but you can't close it. Okay, fine. So you can also have that. You have very weird looking cup holders here, hapa mbele, that you can close and cover it up. I don't know, this was not a wise idea. Now, where they shine again, in comparison to what Toyota is doing, is easy dials hapa za ku set AC. Ni vitu haziwezi kufa. Imagine for the last I don't know how many years, these things are still functioning. The dials are working. You know these things right now we do it with a button, but this is the old school of doing it. So this one is pulling air from the exterior into the car. Then this one is recycling the air that is inside the car. So you can, unasikia ina change ndani manually. Hii haiwezi kufa bwana. So if you want to make this car quite interesting for you, just slap here a very nice infotainment system, like maybe an Android radio, and you're good to go. You have an updated version of what this car can give you in terms of entertainment. Number two, you also have your features like you can adjust your headlights juu na chini. So if kama unachoma watu hivyo, that's your eco button. So if you want to save fuel economy and all that, and this one here is what you use to close your side mirrors. Ukisha park. Quite easy and simple. Comfortable at the front. I just love what Nissan have done with this car. Let's look at the rear and see what options do you get at the rear. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that legroom, man. Again, the seats are quite comfortable. The seats are quite comfortable. Whew. I'm 6'2". Again, I'll remind you 100,000 times. Look at that headroom. This is a car you can comfortably carry, taller people. This is a car I will really, really enjoy, carrying somebody like an elderly parent or even a sickly person. The space here, it's enough. Unfortunately, the door bins hapa nyuma ndo ndogo. You don't get any AC fans huku nyuma or any things that bring air here. So unategemea hewa ya watu wa mbele. But again, that's all you get. One thing that I really, really appreciate is the fact that the build quality and the materials of this car have held up over time. Just look at that. This is 2012. Look at how these seats look. Look how this mat looks like. Interesting. And this transmission tunnel is so small. Unaweza beba mtu wa lift hapa katikati na asifeel vibaya. Kwanza hapa katikati mwanzo iko comfortable. She's very nice. Oh, you don't get that resting thing. But you get the idea. Such a comfortable car. Okay? So the only thing now we need to do is drive this car. And before we drive this car, let me call somebody on set and let's talk about what are the problems that you will experience when you buy this car and how do you deal with those problems.
Hi everyone, I'm Salome Kebwani, an automotive engineer at CARSURE. So today I'm going to take you through the problems you can expect to have if you own a Nissan Tiida. So first, we have the suspension. The suspension, especially bushings, were prone to premature wear. So that is something that you should look out for, but it is not as expensive. So over the last couple of years, we have known CVTs to have delay in shifting, slipping of gears. I mean, CVTs have had quite a reputation. But luckily, this Nissan Tiida has among the very first generation CVTs, which makes it really good as the earlier generations were not as problematic as the current CVTs. Another issue that was reported in Nissan Tiidas was electrical malfunction, such as the power windows that were not functioning well and the central car door locking. But those were minor issues. Overall, this car was easy to maintain and quite fuel efficient. But the one thing you should keep in mind is that you cannot skip your services when it comes to Nissans.
And there you have it from the lovely Salome, our engineer at CARSURE, and she's given you a layout of the possible problems that you are going to experience if you plan on buying this car. But something I'll tell you is some of those problems are really things you might not even notice when they happen. Because kitu kama electricals, it's not like when you buy this car right now, ni kitu unaenda ku experience, okay? These are things that wear out with time. And again, there are items that we can call replacement item over time of usage and how heavy you use them. But what I can tell you is they're not expensive again. Kitu kama hiyo switch ya mlango ikiharibika ni 1,500 pesa taslim ya Kenya, and you're perfectly okay back in motion. Number two, when it comes to the engine and the transmission, again, it boils down to service. I tend to present the idea that the reliability of the car is down to how you keep the car in motion and in check. Meaning, routine maintenance, make sure you do what you call preventive maintenance, knowing what you need to change, when to change before anything bad happens. Vitu kama rings, valve seals, those are things that you need to know. They are replacement and repair items on any engine, just not this one, okay? Like there's a friend of mine who has a very nice old Toyota, inaitwa Toyota Vios, na engine ilikuwa imeclock 300,000 kilometers. The engine was okay, it was running, but of course it was slightly smoking. So it meant that he had to do a bit of an overhaul. So akanunua rings, akafanya overhaul ya engine. A engine sasa itamsukuma another 300,000 kilometers without a doubt. So some of those things is down to how you keep them. Number three, which is the final one on the suspension, I told you, Nissan has a split idea around suspension. So not only will it be very comfortable for you to drive, this car is quite comfortable. Hata ukidrive into uneven surfaces, ukienda nayo ushago, it will feel more comfortable than any other car. Let me take a comparison like an Axio or a Premio. This car is quite comfortable in terms of how the suspension feels. The downside is you will wear down those bushings so many times, because that is again is a downside of Nissan. But again, the bushings, 500, 1,000 bob. So it's not something that you really care much if you drive and enjoy what this car offers. So let's drive this car and see how does it actually feel to drive this car. Then we come back and do value for money and see, does it stack up to what you can get in the market right now.
Yes, Mr. MBUGUA.
How you must have?
It's been a minute, man. It has been a minute. But you're back now. How do you call this? Driving with MBUGUA or driving with a boy?
I'd say driving with a boy. Right now he's a man.
Now you're a man.
I'm a man.
I hear you are upgraded now. You are in front of the camera, man.
I said nowadays I'm in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I'm Janiona.
Yes.
Pick up an AUTOSELECT.
So tuingie wa gari. How do you feel? Instantly.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
It's something that Nissan always do in all their cars. Yes, they're not saying their gearbox are not good, but their comfort.
Yes.
The seats, the space, the leg room. Nissan Note has one of the biggest leg room.
Of course.
Same to this car.
Yes. Now, if you don't want to buy the Nissan Note and you want something that is a bit premium, a bit more spacious in the cabin, then you buy this.
You buy the Tiida.
And the good thing is they share the same platform.
By the way, both of them are in the same family.
Yes. So uko chonjo kabisa. So
other than that,
yes.
I mean,
I like even the suspension feel. You remember when you did the review of the Sylphy, ile mzee, even the newer one.
They were
comfortable, and even when you did the X-Ray.
Like
remember the X-Ray?
You remember even when you did the comparison of
yes.
the Sylphy and the Premium.
Yes.
The Sylphy one in terms of comfort.
100%. Now this one is the second gen, Tiida. So of course, iko na the recent CVT. But hii haikuwa mbaya sana. But if you get one that has the, how do we call, the force automatic.
That was the previous.
The previous, yeah, the C11, yes. Itakuwa fiti. So hii gari inakaa between Sylphy na inakaa between Nissan March. Not tuko karibu, tunakaribiana hapo. So Nissan March, Sylphy hapo katikati. Nissan Note alafu hii. Yes.
And something else I've noticed, it has a small window here. As much as it's a is this a sedan?
Yes, you can, yeah, this is a sedan. It's a sedan.
Because unajua inakaka kale kagari tulikuwa tunachora tukiwa watoto. Small, but funny enough,
yes.
The boot is short but deep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so deep.
Exactly.
And for me, I think I love the version of this when it's a hatchback.
Even me.
I love that version.
I'll do the hatchback.
It looked much better.
Yes.
In terms of even the appearance. And haiko inakani kama your boot, it's an afterthought.
Yes.
That boot looks like an afterthought. Other than that, comfort.
Perfect. Hapa nikidrive na feel hapa kuna bit of blind spot. By the way, hii nini yake, the front design windscreen is slightly raised up. So there is a bit of, you know, an obstruction here, but it's not something that you really pay attention to. Yeah. Away from that,
I don't think hii ilikuja na ile issue ya unakumbuka ile bump.
no, hiyo ilikuwa ya Sylphy G11.
Sylphy G11.
Hii mambo ni shwari.
Plastic walisource kwingine na hii ile wakasource kwingine.
Sana wakaka na kupana.
But something else about Nissan,
Yes.
you ona cup holders. Kuna cup holders mbili hapa, kuna zingine hapa.
But tu cup holder ni tudogo.
Ni kidogo sana. I don't think hii ni ya kushikilia ka tumbler.
Yes. Hii ni katambula tu haina mambo
Hii ni
mingi.
tumbler.
Yes.
Oh, roll. Okay,
Let me put my feet down.
It's not a fast car.
Okay, this is not a car.
This is not a car.
If you want the perfect one, as I said, chukua kuna 1600cc iko na turbo charger. The same engine utaipata kwa S na manual 5 speed ama 6 speed. The same engine utapata kwa Juke ile Nismo. Yes. So
And they also not Nismo.
yes. So kuna
There's a
hizo.
version of this came with that.
Yes.
Wow, I'd
Yes.
love to see that. But
MR16
did they even
DPT.
come to the Kenyan market?
They're in Japanese market, so if you want to ship in, you can. But unajua sasa tuwezi ship it because hii gari ilikuwa discontinued from 2012 in the Japanese market, but you can still find it as a Versa in the US market and other markets as well. Yeah.
I wonder Burundi we should go with.
Exactly.
Uimportia huko.
Yes.
You want to enjoy that car.
In fact, cheat code inakuanga MBUGUA. Register an East Africa Corporation, kimbia Burundi, import hii gari.
Hata kampuni hata kama umeenda
Yes.
kwa kibanda.
Yes.
Bora kampuni kwa register
Yes, number plate ya pale mbele ukiweka MBUGUA 1 unalipa 30k.
peke yake.
Yeah.
Nakuja nayo Kenya na barua.
Yes. So, give me your grade.
For me,
Kwa sababu price ya hii gari, where the juice spot is the price.
the price
So this car is being sold by Gear 6 at how much?
730,000.
730,000 Kenya shillings. Kwa naambia wase gari ingine ina compete na hii gari kwa hiyo space ni upate gari kama Axela ile Smiley.
Ile smiley face.
But Smiley ya 207, 208 ndo utapata na 7 so 800. Umeget? Ukitaka kununua ile ya juu kidogo lazima uspend how much? 1.2. Yes, nakumbuka kama ile tulikuwa nayo. Yes.
For a client.
Yes. So now this provides a very good value proposition. If you have your money right, get this one. Make sure you get one that is in good shape like this one. Haina mambo
I
mingi.
know, just a few
Touch-ups here and there.
na wanunue report pale kama wanataka kununua hii gari.
Of course, wakitaka kujua hii gari kila kitu
Said
ende cashwa.
again and again, yes, we are advertising this car,
Mhm.
but we want to be certain about especially local used cars. There's no way you can be sure about it until you check it.
Of course. So, tunatufanya value for money.
Value for money.
Value for money ndio tushaifanya lakini
Fanya hapa.
tunavikirudia.
Turudie.
Considering the cost of cars right now, so if you buy the C11, which is the first gen of the Tiida, you'll spend anything between 450 to 550,000 Kenya shillings. Now, this is the second gen, it's a 2012, so that's why you're going to spend 730,000 Kenya shillings. Now, let me take you back to a car that will slightly fall into the same category. If you guys want us to do the review of that car as well, we shall always have it on this channel, on the Redriven series. And that car is the Mazda Axela Smiley Face. So a 207, 208 Smiley Face Axela will set you back anything between 700 and 850,000 Kenya shillings. If you try to go past 2010, 2012, you know you're already spilling over 1 point something million Kenya shillings. Now, the big question I'll put to you is, would you rather buy this car or buy the Smiley Face Axela previous model, maybe 207, 208? If you buy this Tiida 205, 206, 207, you'll spend approximately 500,000 Kenya shillings, which is 200k, 300k cheaper than the Smiley Face Axela. I hope this has been an enticing and productive episode for you to make your choice on which car to buy. And this present a very interesting value proposition, the Nissan Tiida C11 or C12. I reckon if you are in a plan to have a car that will serve you well and give you value for money over time, the Nissan Tiida provides that value proposition. I've been your host, Ibrahim Toloi, and see you on Sunday for another special and epic episode of Conversations. Kanisa!